Yes, it's a Wednesday, and once again, we welcome you to Property Matta, where we discuss everything we get to do with how to own property, how to buy property, how to sell property, so that you no go fall in the hands of scammers, people who they call GBT people. And even if you get your own property, how can you maintain it as a landlord? How you fit take rent house where they no go swindle you, that's as a tenant. So everything patapata we get to do with building property now we dey discuss on top Property Matter. Myself plus Slimy, we dey always dey here gidigba. Then our anchor man, that is our guest presenter, is always Mr. Debo. Mr. Debo, you're welcome to the show again.
Thank you very much,
look
Chief Olododo.
And changed.
Okay, thank you. It's always good to change things once in a while, you know.
Change, as coach change now.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Now the time of change we did.
Abi, so maybe they change, they go. Well done. Good morning to our viewers once again. I want to believe that you've been enjoying all the things that we've been sharing. We'll encourage you again and again to ensure if you miss any of our episodes, please go to the YouTube channel.
Like
and,
now.
You know, WAP TV.
Not now.
Look out for, exactly. Look out for Property Matter and then watch all the back episodes. So today, we'll be talking about the types of landlord and tenants, especially the ones that you should be careful of and avoid. And how you can spot them if possible. You know, I hope that we'll be able to finish today. If we don't, we'll continue next week. But we'll be talking about types of tenants and landlords. There are different types of tenants, as you must have experienced, because we all must have been either tenants before, or you've been tenants and you've now been a landlord. And so you know there are types, okay, to this. So that's what we'll be discussing today, Chief and
She's a very good one, though.
It's a very good one because it tells everybody where you watch. Is either you are watching as a landlord,
or you're watching as a tenant,
or as a caretaker,
or as an agent.
As an agent.
Agents, if they live somewhere now.
So they are tenants.
You are going to be tenant or landlord wherever you did.
So caretaker man say be landlord. Why? And they are not landlord.
But they are caretakers. They are there in the place of the landlord. They are the ones that have been given the responsibility.
Most of them say the lines and then get the house until real landlord come.
I don't know whether if they are given power of attorney, I mean to run the show, then they are as good as the landlord. As in if they are given a blanket power of attorney.
I'll be a guest, no, I'll be a landlord. I don't want to be a caretaker.
The caretaker landlord, no doubt. So who is a landlord and what are the types of landlord?
If you don't know who landlord be by now, you know they are alive. Okay, well basically a landlord be person will be say na him get property. Usually in this case, if you must have a tenant, you are talking about somebody who has a property that a tenant can be in, either to lease just bare land or mostly talking about built property. So you go lease apartment and all. So now landlord will get property will be say he don't build. And he don't give out to people or in they live there by himself. Now in there they call landlord. Anybody will get house, will get property. If he be just land, but anybody will don't get land and above, whether I don't develop the land, he never develop and now in there they call landlord. But when he come say tenant, it means say he don't put somebody on that property.
That you stay there and you pay.
Whether they stay there together, whether the person where he put there and they stay there alone on his own, just tenant, and they pay him, they pay the landlord. Now be that person a tenant. So tenants now the person will be say let property from a landlord to stay in for monetary exchange. I mean, in they pay some money.
Okay, Mr. Debo, you clear or say landlord now person will be say he gets house, tabi land, and he give people make the con stay. I want to make you clarify something about this kind of landlord where I don't really know about. And I know some people might actually want to learn from it. We get face me and face you landlord. We get flats landlord. We get duplex landlord. But there's something they call service charge apartment. What is the meaning of service charge apartment, and what are the things that must be in a house before I say this one a service charge apartment? Because some people go say if you want to enter service charge, you don't go carry anything at all.
Like everything is already there.
I understand what you maybe you talking about serviced accommodations.
Service charge.
The charge may not service accommodation. It means that, and they are in different ways also. So there are those that they furnished the place for you. They furnish the place. When you are coming in, you just need to bring your personal items, clothes, and all of that.
I don't go bring TV.
In terms of, you don't need all of that. It's furnished fully. The kitchen, the sitting area, the bedrooms, everywhere is fully furnished. So you just come in with your personal belongings and then you stay there. Usually they stay there for a lot, of course, a lot all around. I mean, usually people stay there for short periods of maybe at most a year. Hardly do you see people who stay in serviced accommodation like that for long, okay? However, that's a bit different from when they say an apartment comes with some services. It's also like serviced apartments. But in that sense, they are not talking about furnishing. They may not be talking about furnishing the apartments. They may be talking about providing services like security, you know, like cleaner for the common area and all of that. Those are serviced apartments also. But the one you are talking about the most, they call them short-let apartments, short-let service accommodation or something. So they are there for short times, you know. So you stay there for a night or two. They are like alternatives to hotels. You know, some people don't like the ambience or the surrounding of an hotel. They prefer to stay. Some of them prefer to stay in this short-let apartment because maybe they like to cook their food. They don't like to buy, you know, or they get bored by the hotel's ambience and all of that.
Yeah, right. That's
it's not ambulance. You didn't hear him say ambulance.
I'm only the dream. I don't like the ambulance of the hotel. So I like brote. I don't do hotel. Brote ni moment love. If you do it, zero.
Okay, we are not even talking about that now. So those are serviced apartments.
When you say service apartment, just to get it better again, sir, does that mean that they no go? Because what the person no go ask. Does that mean say they no go pay NEPA bill? And then generator, they no go fuel am.
You don't have business with all of those. It's already been configured into your bill. Yeah.
Wow.
It's just like you go to the hotel and you take a room. Do you care about how much NEPA is charging you?
In the hotel, they go.
Okay, even your brote. Do you care about how much NEPA is charging them? They would have given you a rate.
Light must not go.
Once you pay the rate, that's all.
Covers everything.
That's all. Somebody comes to clean your room.
There are some that will even cover your breakfast.
Exactly. Some would even cover your laundry.
They clean my own room.
Yeah.
So you they clean your room yourself?
I only want 5. Let me man 1.5.
It's brote.
So what are those landlords?
Yeah, so there are different types of landlords and tenants. But let's first talk about tenants. You know, the types of tenants. Okay, you want us to talk about landlord first? But you were, before we started, Slimmy, you were talking about some tenants that...
I know. I was talking about some tenants that I'm having issues with. And I was wishing at this period I'm a landlord. Because, I think we should start with tenants. So I'll be able to get my opinion.
So, like, coming from what you said, you know, there are those tenants that you can say they are uncooperative.
Very.
They are uncooperative, and even the landlord feels it. Their co-tenant feels it. This is what happens with them. Now, a lot of times when you need to do things together as a body, as a group of tenants or people living in the house, they usually come up with reasons and excuses why they won't be part of it. They are usually, is it that they say, no, me, I don't have money now, or me, I don't see the reason why this. Me, I'm just not doing. You understand? They never see reason why they should do things for the betterment of all.
It's so annoying.
You know, it's usually very annoying to deal with those people. How you manage them, you need to have very good people skill to be able to manage those people. But at the end of the day, the best thing to do with them is to see how they can be out of that apartment.
But you don't have any right to chase them
What
out.
I mean by that is for the landlord. You know, for the landlord, because they will also be uncooperative to the landlord. It's
As a
not
matter
just
of fact, let me use my own building.
It's not just to the common tenants.
Let me use my building.
Your colleagues are not.
If they are watching, maybe my rent is not due. It's the October before they will say I should pack my things. So I have a very calm landlord, very, very understanding landlord. Like most times I ask myself, like, do we really have landlords like this? He doesn't stay in the compound, but he comes around to check things for himself and all of that. But you know, we have some very stubborn tenants. Like when we are supposed to pack debt, they will tell you they don't have money. If we have issues with the compound, and then do a whole lot for inside the compound, or they now then get children.
Yeah.
You know, they litter the whole compound and all of that. So they're actually the ones messing up the whole compound. But when it's time for us to like make some contributions and all of that to the betterment of the compound, they tell you, we are sorry, we are out of this, we are not part of it. And when we tell my landlord, just be like, hey, we just what would not do? So they're even owing, like, as I speak now, they're owing like 2 years. So what they've done now, I don't know whether the brothers or the owners of the house, what they've done is they've now collected the house from the person that was in charge before.
Managing it.
Yeah, so they've handed the house to another person because of this tenant. So that once the money, they say, don't worry, you see this your money, safe. Go with it. We don't need it again. Because I feel my landlord does not have action. Seriously. No, seriously, I feel that's the reason. Because they come, they litter, they don't pay for light, they don't pay for water. We take care of all the responsibilities. And yet, I'm not comfortable.
So they are uncooperative, okay? They are very, very uncooperative. Sometimes it's not due to not having, but they just are uncooperative by nature.
Unruly.
They just don't have.
Unruly.
You know, there are those type of people.
But that's them being mean.
You know, there are those type of people who just don't like to go with what people agree. They just like when everybody is facing this way, they just like to go the other way. You know,
and it's deliberate.
And it's deliberately, and we also have them even in a landlord-tenant setting. So that's at uncooperative tenants. We have the ones that are utility bill avoiders.
They see they do.
Utility bills avoiders. They hardly would ever pay up on their utilities. They are the ones that go to find conny way to continue to have light without paying NEPA bill. You know, continue to have water if it is a place that is still serviced by water corporation without paying water bill. They are the ones that when they pack out and you are the unfortunate person to take that apartment,
you feel very sorry.
Or you are the unfortunate landlord. The kind of bill they will have left for you if you are not careful, as regards your NEPA bill or whatever, would have been huge. They don't pay for the area security, maybe the streets, they have security arrangements, refuse and all of that, disposal. They don't pay. They just don't like to pay for bills.
No matter how small.
No matter how small. They just don't like. They have a kind of feeling that I've paid for the apartment. I mean, it should cover for...
I think outside I've paid for the apartments. I've lived with
some of them like that.
So I think their mentality is usually that if I don't pay, after they disturb me, they will still pay. Because they want to have light, they will pay.
I don't care.
I don't care. And they are not usually ashamed. If you see them, they don't care.
They don't
so
care.
They'll tell you, I don't get. You won't help me pay. You go pay for me. I say, if I get, I'll pay.
Chief, you don't play the bank job.
They will cut your light. Say, cut on.
But they know they don't even need the light.
I know the day house.
I know the
day house.
Exactly.
I go in the morning. How many lights do they use? I will sleep. I will wake up. But the truth is, when they now see lights, they have this conny way
of going to connect.
Connected again. This is what they do, sir. Most times, maybe they say the NEPA bill is 1,000. After they've caused enough fracas and maybe they cut the lights, you think they still don't need it, and they restore the lights, they reconnect them back, then they will now take 200 out of the usual 1,000. Excuse me, that everybody is paying. They will now go and give Ogo who is in charge. Say, Ogo help me, connect me this 200. No worry, next week I'll balance you 800. And before you know it, they will reconnect them because they will say, no, leave them. She'll be all of them. No.
I'm telling you.
And it's deliberate.
I'm telling you, I've seen a situation, growing up, I remember a situation where a whole house connected their lights, had an irregular connection from a facility on their streets. You know, those ones, whenever there is no light, they put on their generator. This whole house connected, tapped that facilities. I'm telling you. You know what they now do? Once there is no light, because they know that they don't have generator, they don't put on any outside light.
So it's
everybody in their room just put on their own light. They are running on that other facilities generator. So you won't be surprised to have a lot of people who avoid bills in that kind of environment. Because if you can have the mind to go and tap into somebody else's light, it's not that it's NEPA from another side.
Now it is
their generator that you just tapped into it and all. So you can imagine.
The question is if they even discover waiting person one day. So you want a mistake.
Which
They
kind
know
of
it's
mistake?
not a mistake.
Which kind of
Chief.
mistake?
They know. Now nights then they
Which
connect.
kind of mistake? Exactly.
Nights and they get ladder. They get their own standby ladder. And but that okay, wait, you talk.
And they go come off
200.
all the outside lights. Everywhere go dark.
Dark.
Inside go cold.
Chill inside. On another person bill.
And people like that want to even want AC because it's not their
what
fuel.
are you
Chief,
saying?
especially now where they use prepaid, they go use AC, use fridge, use you where they get the prepaid, they off everything no. But them they go help you leave everything.
Iron.
Running your bill.
Come me play
Exactly,
music.
you can imagine.
Well, we just the begin, and we are talking about the types
Well.
of tenant first. Let's quickly go on this break. Yes, most definitely when we come back, if you call, Chukin, tell us which kind tenants when they live together. Where they be the ones where then they
And
do
your
where-
landlord.
and your
No,
landlord.
not yourself. Your landlord.
Your landlord or your co-tenants. Which kind of trouble they give you so that we go learn from her.
telling
We
you,
will be
me
right
too.
back.
The best investment on earth is earth.
The issue of say make a person get house, make a person get land, make a person.
Property matter na serious business so one of the best investments wey person fit get for life. Shey you be estate agent, surveyor, town planner or you dey into furniture and you go like make the world sabi your level, come advertise with us on top Property Matter wey dey shele for WAP TV for every Tuesday from 8:15 to 9 a.m.
Types of tenants. Now we start with with today's theme of discussion, we will call types of tenants and landlords. So we want to know which kind tenant they, which kind landlord they. Our guest presenter don't tell us say the first one are uncooperative tenants. As tenants we be say they know they want cooperate. When people they go A and B, then they go. Then utility bill avoiders. Some tenants they will be say their own. Owó there. Owó
no dey pay.
owó agbálẹ̀, owó lọ́mà, owó anything. They know
matter
they
how
at that
small.
time they know the day house. When you knock their door, the music you go dey hear, but they know day. All this kind of thing. We want to actually know so that we can find a lasting solution to them because we cannot shy away from this. Now people will stay with them day. Really, they exist.
Yes.
So after utility bill avoiders, which one will get again?
Another type of tenants we be say they get now, the one way I call property trashers.
They destroy property.
The way then they use
And
property
do.
here, even landlord, when he see them, he go swear for them.
I
Just put them in an apartment that you've put in a tenantable condition when they are coming in and check the property in 3 months, in 6 months. They just don't take care of anything. They run it down, you see things falling apart, things that are supposed to be their responsibility to fix ordinarily. They will just leave it like that. They will spoil door. So when they are going, it's like they vandalized your property.
It is so funny, Engineer Debo, where the sock we get filled up, and some people are still waiting for the landlord.
I'm telling you, yeah, the
to
ones,
come and-
yes, so
and
and
they
the
are
landlord is
ones
not even staying
using-
in that compound.
And it's not staying there. The landlord doesn't, and people are still waiting for the landlord
I'm telling
to
you.
come and get evacuators.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Now, when you talk about property trashers, I actually noticed it too because I was thinking, if you don't touch it, I have to talk about this. Some people, when they want park, come out inside house. I don't know the kind idea we didn't get. Maybe they don't see themselves, say themselves no go build house.
House.
Because if you know you build house, you don't have, even if you have issues with the landlord, you
Doesn't
don't have
mean
any
you should
right
destroy,
to
yeah.
carry
They'll be
hammer.
taking-
They
they'll
will
break
break,
it.
the ties
Yeah.
on the floor.
Yeah.
One.
They will say, I'm the
wire.
one that put it there.
Yes, sir. How much is cable wire?
They will say,
Not
"We're
even
the
how
one
much
that
wire.
run."
Wire, just normal flexible. They will remove
Move
it
it
on
and
the
say,
wall.
we're the ones that put it there.
They say they are the one that. It's so funny that swish, you know, just paka, that's 100 naira.
They will remove
They
it.
will remove it. Means that where they are going to ordinarily,
Might
A
even
lot of
meet-
times
they
they are
might
not
even
using
meet.
it
They are not
there.
using it,
They are not
chief.
using it there.
Most times they don't even need it.
I see it as just a callous act. And I see it as somebody who don't conceive, say maybe himself no go get property.
Their excuse usually and reason is that the landlord was also not too good to them.
That's why I
You
should
hear-
destroy
you
the
hear-
ties.
you hear was that
I mean,
old
that's
news?
break the
usually
ties.
their,
Yeah.
that's usually
Hammer.
their excuse. Sometimes the landlord gave them quick notice. That's all he did wrong.
They say he didn't
Have
even
we
tell
ever-
And
them
maybe he
yet.
gave them quick notice because, for example, of their attitude.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see tenants that, yeah, they are good, but the spouse is a
Yes.
problem.
Always making
The wife
trouble.
is
Either
Yes,
the wife
yeah.
or the husband. people can stay happily with either the wife or the husband, but the other party, his spouse, is a problem. He or she is the one that causes problem.
In the compound.
They are the one that take people
Fight
to police
everybody.
station, go and call police. Every time is always a problem. I call those ones troublemaker landlords.
Tenants.
I mean tenants, sorry. Troublemaker tenants.
Sorry, sir. Umar.
Okay.
Umar, yes, we have Umar there.
Good morning, Umar.
Good morning, sir.
How is the Federal Capital Territory this morning?
Oh, fine.
So,
I want to ask a question pertaining to the program.
all right.
Okay, Umar, go ahead.
Yes, between tenant and landlord. I have a question, and my question goes like this. If you are a tenant and your landlord, normally if you are paying 1 year for your house and it happens to expire, and at the same time the landlord insists that you must pay before ending of the expiring date, what will be the procedure for you? Maybe if you are paying 1 year, there are advantage of 6 months and 3 months before any other issues comes up. But what if the landlord insists you have to pay before ending of the years runs out? I want more enlightenment in that.
Are you asking 2 questions or just one? I'm
It's
trying
just
to
one.
get
The question is, some landlord
You have to leave or you have to pay?
pay before the end
Before
of your
the-
rent.
Yeah. before the
Okay,
rent expires.
okay. Well, Umar, he cannot insist.
Some they insist.
Wait, he cannot insist if you have clear agreements that states or stipulates your tenancy period. He can only admonish, negotiate, and propose to you that he needs money and you should pay in advance. And when you are doing that, you can also ask for some privileges. One of which may be that maybe ordinarily by the next rent, he should review. You can ask to pay exactly the current rent.
Okay.
Or if it's not that it's due for review or anything, you can ask to pay a little less. Because it's like the truth of the matter is like you are giving him money in advance. That money, if you put it in the bank,
Interest
you will get
Yeah.
interest till the period that you are now supposed to pay it. So you can negotiate. That's why it's not his right to insist. And it's just that because we have very short supply of housing, when you now say you don't have, when you have, for example, or you seem to be hard on him, or he seems to think that it's his right, the next thing that it results to is that it gives you quick notice, and things like that. But, if you are not afraid of all of that, because all of those things have procedures, a landlord cannot harass you out of an accommodation.
Yeah.
By law, he cannot. And if there are traces or trail to the fact that what started all of this quick notice is a request for an advance payment.
Oh my God.
The bigger problem.
He can't win that case in court if he gives you quick notice. So, most landlords that know their whatever, they know that when they know have this, they can ask you for, an advance payment. I must let you know that we're talking about, maybe sometime soon, we'll talk about the types of investments in real estate. Rent discounting is a major avenue that people make money in real estate. Rent discounting. So if, for example, a landlord has a tenant has been staying in his house for like 5 years and has never defaulted in his rent, always pays as at when due. And then 6 months to the next rent, the landlord terribly needs money. Let's assume that tenant cannot offer. There are people whose business is to give that landlord, assessing that tenant, they give that landlord money, waiting for the tenant when he's to pay.
Okay.
So let's assume that the tenant is to pay 1 million naira. They may give the landlord 750, and they will take 1 million when it's time to pay. That 250 is their own gain. Is rent discounting. It's a real estate. We've done it, a number of times. It's a real estate investment
policy.
Opportunity that people explore. So you can imagine if you are now the sitting tenants and your landlord needs money 6 months in advance, you can negotiate. You may not be able to get 25% from him, but at least
on a regular,
you can get some things from him. And I mean, because he needs the money. Your rent
When
is still
it's not
yes,
time.
and you can use the money for something else before the time your rent is due also. Sure. So it's not a right, Omar. So he really cannot insist. If he's insisting, you may want to talk to your lawyer and also decide whether you want to, because it's also not all battles that are worth fighting.
Sure.
So you may want to decide whether you just want to let it lie low.
Because
if you have the money, you pay. If you, you just weigh your options.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis what you will gain. What are you going to lose? What's the cost-benefit analysis? Do you understand? You know the cost and the benefits. You look at which one suits you the most.
What they scare most of us now, the fact that we get wife and picking.
You can't reason.
So you go to think now. So
Move things,
exactly.
stress, you now ask yourself, is it really worth this old? Because the time where you supposed to day office,
you go dey look for apartment. You go dey go.
And you can't even look. They go dey help you look for. And your wife go dey do the.
And every day you pay.
And the new house you are going.
That's what they do. Every day you pay.
This pay, they pain Timmy for. Slimmy for.
Yes.
Mr. Adebo, if it was you or if it is you, it will not pay you. Do you know how much you pay every day?
There is no time we talk about this. Looking for property. CBT does not
Mr.
talk about
Adebo, you know what's have an idea.
The agent that collected money from CBT.
Mr. Bayo.
Prepare
Mr. Bayo.
Mr. Bayo, I hope you leave now. Sorry, we have a caller.
Yeah, is it a good morning from Oyo? Or is it Ife?
I think it's fair.
It should be Ife.
Ife? It should be Ife.
Ibe. Okay, is Ibe.
Okay, Ibe, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's the name, man?
Mrs. Ibe.
Okay, Mrs. Ibe, how are you?
Good to have you, Mrs. Ibe. Do you have questions or
From
contributions?
Oyo?
Yes,
That's
from Oyo.
all, man.
That's my town.
What did you say?
Question.
All right, please
yeah.
go on. Go ahead.
Question.
You have blown.
Question.
Oh yeah, now tell us.
I'm a tenant.
Okay.
So I'm owing my landlord for rent.
Okay.
So he come and give me quick notice for 2 weeks.
Quick
So
notice.
after the 2 weeks, I was unable to get the money. Now come to remove the roof of where we are occupying. Please, in that situation, what would I do?
How many years are you owing him to start with?
6 months.
You are owing him 6 months.
Yes.
Do you pay monthly or yearly?
Yearly.
Yearly.
It's not years old.
They say how many months are you owing first? How many months are you
6
owing?
months. 6 months.
6
Then
months.
how do you pay
So how
normally?
do you pay?
Is it yearly you pay your rent or monthly?
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months you pay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, ordinarily by law, if you are paying 6
6 months. 6 months.
we understand, we've heard you. Ordinarily by law, if you are
Every
paying
6
6 months, it needs to give you a notice of 6 months also.
Not 2 weeks.
No, not 2 weeks. But that also would depend largely, maybe not really, on your agreement. I would like that you talk to a lawyer. Let him examine the agreement you have between your landlord and yourself first. There are statutory laws, okay? And ordinarily, you should have 6 months notice. That's number one. Number two, no landlord should be able to remove the roof over here. They call that Jankara type of eviction.
Jankara.
So he's trying to use the Jankara method to evict you. If you get a good lawyer, you should be able to wriggle out of that. The reason why the law does not allow landlords such powers is so that people, they don't just throw everybody or a lot of people onto the streets. Yeah. You understand? Because they are having temporary issue. So there is a procedure that you should go through. He has already started. If what you are telling us is correct, he has already started running foul of the law. So I would encourage you to talk to a lawyer and see how you can, get some remedy. Okay, Mrs. Ibe?
That kind of
Thank you.
now.
So we go on to
Property trashers. We are still on
property trashers. They just vandalize your property. You want to be careful about this type of tenants. One way that you can manage them a lot is when you have a good agent running your property, managing your property, or a good caretaker. Because ordinarily there should be periodic inspection of properties. Say every 3 months or every 6 months. They come check and all of that to be sure that the property is being used very well. Whatever needs repairs by the landlord or the tenant, they advise. We have Kola Wale from
Good morning,
Oyo.
Kola.
Good morning.
How are you there, sir?
Fine.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, my question is, I'm a tenant, and I packed into the house last year December.
Okay.
And the rent is 70,000, and I paid 100,000, 30,000 for the agreement and commission. So then, 3 months ago, my landlord gave me quick notice. So I'm now thinking of, is it right? Because I paid agreement and commission, and I didn't use more than 1 year. You have given me quick notice. So is that right?
Do you have any issue with him? Share any jati tele.
We don't have any issue. We are living in peace. We don't have any issue. I just saw the quick notice.
Does the landlord stay in your compound?
He's not my landlord, but he's the daughter of the son of my landlord.
Over to you, sir.
Well, like I said, what agreement did you sign up? You said you paid for an agreement. Check your agreements. That agreement probably, I suspect, will have said 1 year certain. You probably, paid for 1 year. It's 1 year, and your notice would also lapse after 1 year. So you've enjoyed what you've paid for, actually. And if they follow the process, they may be able to evict you, really. Actually, that you paid, that you just entered and is 1 year does not mean, except the rent or the agreement says that you would enjoy that property for 5 years, but you will pay yearly, and you've paid 1 year. If that is such an agreement, which is in most cases called lease, anything after 3 years, tenure after 3 years is called lease.
Mr. Adebo,
so you may want to talk to a lawyer. You may want to talk to a lawyer. Let him check your agreement and then be able to advise you on what to do.
I think most times we fail to read through the agreement. That's
why
we have issues.
Yes.
Yeah, I think most times, like Slimy said, we don't actually go through the agreement. Because once we pay for it, most of them don't give and we don't ask.
You don't ask. Yeah.
That's one. Then even where we ask, we don't read, we just sign. That's one. So I want, like they say, Calvit emptor. Most tenants, let us be very careful because I don't even know where my own agreement is.
Me, I don't even. I think I was more worried about the receipts. I wasn't the agreements on me. Yeah.
One. The number two is on the side of Kola Wale. I think I will have to solicit a bit for him this morning. Why? I've seen some landlords that it is their own usual game. Practice. Once you pay for 1 year, after a year or two, even if you don't offend them, they'll push you to the wall so that
they
you
can get another person and you pay another agreement.
So that they
commission. That's true.
Helen, good morning.
That's true.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing, ma?
I'm fine, sir.
How are you doing this morning?
Edo is very peaceful. I'm fine.
Thank God. Oh, yeah?
My tenant is holding me for the past 1 year now. He has not paid. And the year I have going, Edo is very fine.
You are a landlord, ma?
Yeah, I'm a landlady.
You are the landlady. You say your tenants are owing you for how long?
Since this year, I've not been paying cover.
Your agent, what's your agent? Are you the one handling the property yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a lawyer that you can work with or that you work with in handling your property?
I want to seek advice from you people first before I will contact the lawyer.
So we would advise that, what reasons are they giving for not paying?
I went there to draw the money. We're telling me I don't have. I wanted to remove the zinc. So people were advising me, say I shouldn't take laws into my hands.
Yes. I will advise you not to also. Don't take laws into your hands because you'll be worsening your own situation.
Shoot yourself in the
So what I would advise you, madam, is look for a lawyer that you can afford. Let him go through, discuss your situation with him. Let him go through the agreement you have with the tenant, and then you'll be able to take it from there. There are statutory ways of evicting the tenants. Things that we must do, and we must do correctly. Otherwise, if you take the wrong step, you can elongate the process.
And the person could leave house free.
Not really actually. It's just that it's usually difficult to recover money from them. But it's not like they can live there free ordinarily. If you want to recover your money, bent on recovering it, not minding the cost, you should legally. The law enables you to recover your money even after they've left the property. Okay? So that's what I would advise you, ma.
She's still talking.
You said something.
Sir, I say I'm running out of patience for the 2 years now. I'm tired of.
That's why I said the earlier you get a lawyer, the better. So that, don't let your running out of patience lead you to another thing that will really make you to now eat that patience.
Control your emotions.
You understand? Because, if you go and do something that will even now further elongate how long they can stay there because you've taken the wrong step, it will be worse for you. So the best thing to do now is go and talk to a lawyer immediately so that you can start taking the right steps towards getting them out of the place legally. Do you understand?
That's what we are saying, 2 years.
Because most tenants, so the last type of tenants we actually wanted to talk about are rent defaulters.
Just like what she said.
Exactly. A lot of them are experts at it. They stay from one house to the other. Owing rent. So, and a lot of agents and landlords are also greed has blinded them.
Greed, I like that.
You understand? Greed. Because once they have a property to let, the person that comes to them with the most money, they will just take the person.
Not minding what
not minding anything. They won't do due diligence and all. Not knowing that person, that's his stock in trade. You will pay whatever you are asking for that year. Then to get him out. Because he was not paying any other thing. A lot of them, when they are coming in, they say they are far, they are pastor, they are this, they are that. They will claim what they are not. They will just claim what they are not, and your agents are not doing the good due diligence, or the landlord also maybe is not
the account has been
running the property. They will just take the first year rent. Then the guy will stay there for another 2 years without paying most of the time. And you would have to struggle. Sometimes you beg them to leave the place.
So
I've
seen a tenant that told the landlord, "Take me over to she don't want to leave."
Can you imagine?
And he said if you never ready, you need to change. The woman they beg her John to real. Okay, I'll for you in 6 months. No.
I'm not ready.
Me t-shirt won't leave me. Honestly, you go to tell you honestly, me t-shirt. Mr. Samson, Mama Benny.
They are criminal tenants.
Seriously.
If they've been tenants for 20 years, the rent they've paid for that 20 years cannot be up to like 8 years.
So they've been living in free.
They've been living free for 12 years. You take them to court. They won't even go to court. They already know all the laws.
They know better.
They go and represent themselves. Felix, Calabar. I'm telling
you. How you doing?
Fine.
Good morning, sir.
Oga Felicity, we lost you. Sorry, if you can call back.
I hope.
So, rent defaulters, please be. I would like to encourage landlords and agents, particularly landlords, because at the end of the day, a lot of agents are blinded by the commission they will collect. Especially when they are not professionals. All this by the roadside, I don't get job again, I become agents, kind of agents. You need to be watchful the type of people you are giving your
You have said the most important things are greed.
Yes, you need to be watching the type of property. Because other agents, even we that are professionals, you'll be talking to landlord and say, "Okay, this is the going rent. This is the passing rent around this area. And this is what we think we should." They will say, no. My friend said somebody did something. Okay, if you see somebody that did something, if somebody will want to pay this much, there is a reason. A lot of the times, the reason is not really too good. It's not like it's under pressure to leave that place alone. No. It's under pressure to leave that place because he's been evicted.
He has problem where he's coming from.
And he's not paying. And he doesn't mind paying all that you want to collect.
To come and give you another problem too.
Because it's going to cause the problem too. So let's profile the kind of tenants we want. Let's investigate them. Let's do background check on them and things like that. And these things are possible. What we think and hope that we will get to in the country, which I know that is work in progress, is that people don't ordinarily, I realized doing this job, that a lot of tenants actually don't think that it is a serious issue not paying your rent as at when due.
That's something.
I mean, people will people will tell landlords, just give me some time now.
Do you think it's easy?
You think there's no money in the country now?
Do you know that is the source of income also?
Some people even tell you Nigeria get busy.
I'm telling you.
That's the national anthem.
Or they'll be telling you that, when did you build the house?
I've seen
Is it not long ago that you built the house?
I've seen somebody who told the landlord, what did he bother? And you begin to ask, bother.
So please, I mean, because when our tenancy payments start to read as our credit rating, it will no longer be funny for people who take it lackadaisically. So I would encourage you, please, don't be any of these tenants that we've listed.
Landlord is your time next week. Landlord.
Landlord, your turn. Landlord, your turn.